I got a lot on my heart, my people. And when I say my people, I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about my American people, my world people, black, white, Latino, my sisters, my brothers. There's a lot of confusion and chaos that's going on. And within the last couple of weeks, I've been having a lot of people coming up to me and asking me my opinion about what's going on in Missouri with the Mike Brown shooting and an additional shooting, by an officer, law enforcement. And I'm saddened by the killings. I'm saddened by the position that even the officer was placed in. But more so, I'm sad that we, as American people, can't seem to get this right. I'm going to give you a little bit on my background. For one, I come from a family that, we not the most fortunate financially. Grew up in the hoods out here in Houston, whether it's me living in the hood or having family that's living in the hood around here on the south and north side of Houston. So I understand, my people and the struggles that they go through. And it's not just a black thing, it's more so just a low income status thing to where, you don't have things, and so you struggle to make ends meet and then to make rational and wise decisions on what to do and what is to be done. And I'm not making excuses by no means, because I'm really disappointed not only in the people from the low income, middle income, high income, because this is something that we all have to partake in to bring about a unity in our country, a unity across the social classes, a unity across civilians versus servicemen, police officers, things of that nature. Because what I'm seeing is that it comes down to just love and respect, having love and respect for life, irregardless if someone has a criminal record or a prior history, or has tattoos on their face, or walking around with sagging pants. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for bettering yourself, because I know that I'm a first generation college student, and what's disappointing is that opportunity is out here for anybody who is willing and able, who desires to do better, to want to go out here and get an education and have the opportunity to bring about a better life for them. And it's hurtful because a lot of people and then ask me, what would I have done if I was in that situation? And it's a hard situation, because I know, for one, that I would do any and everything to make sure that I would not have to kill another person, shoot another person, because I love and I value human life. And so when I'm seeing this, and of course the facts are going to have to come out, but when I'm seeing this and I'm taking it from what I would have done, due to the training that I've been given, even with the recent shooting of the black male who had the knife, and my understanding is that when you approach an officer with a knife, that's a weapon that can kill. And of course, I would have approached the situation in a way that I would ensure that, hey, look, you need to back away, sir, drop the knife, do anything and everything in my power, even create an extra barrier between us in that officer, in that black male who got shot. Because the issue is, are we truly valuing life to the point to where we don't want to put ourselves in a situation to take another life unless it's absolutely necessary? And like I say, the facts will come out. I mean, there are so many angles that you can take when it comes to how can you justify killing someone. Don't get me wrong, I don't believe that in my heart that I would be able to rest knowing that I murdered someone. And I believe that America is going to respond. I believe that justice is going to prevail in that all the facts would show to the best of our abilities, because we human beings. And I know that, like I talk about all the time, the issue is that when you lack the moral, when you lack the value of family, of life, of education, then we begin to act uncivilized, and we do things in a selfish way. We act on our feelings, our emotions, and a lot of times, from what I've seen, it's not justified. And don't get me wrong, I've seen people act in uncivil ways, and I've been able to, and listening and giving them the respect, being able to get them to at least understand that how they're acting and how they're thinking would not be beneficial to them and their families. And it just goes back to the upbringing, and it's sad to me because I've been there. I've grown up around an environment to where you had to fight and didn't want to fight. You know, going to school and you having people who don't know how to keep their hands to themselves because of the way that they was brought up and taught. And now I'm seeing that the conspiracy, and that's what I'm going to call it, the conspiracy, because it goes through the media, it goes through the music. And what I'm seeing is that, because even I grew up on music that provoked me to want to fight or lash out on someone. You know, they got music nowadays that's telling people to flick off the police and buck at the police, to hurt the police. And at the end of the day, sin is lawlessness. So even though we are not perfect as human beings, and I'm going with my faith with this one, sin is lawlessness. So if you're going around provoking, and I'm talking about 97.9, I'm talking about even 102, any BET, any media outlet that would take and make a mockery or make a joke out of killing, lusting, doing things, provoking jealousy and envy, and doing things that would cause someone who's grown up probably without a mom, without a dad, because it does goes back to having those parents at home as well. Because I know it was my parents who even though we grew up in these areas, they protected me and instilled in me the importance of education and family, to not steal, to not kill, and to not fight even. You know, they would get upset if I fought, even if it was justified, you know, in me trying to defend myself. And so a lot of times it truly goes back to the individual. So I'm not saying that this officer was unjustly doing his duty. The facts will, I believe that the facts will come out, and I believe that God is the ultimate judger, and the justice will come through God. But I also believe that we, as a community of not just black people, and not just minority people, but people across the nation, across the world, we have to realize that we can't go around taking, even gossiping, talking about people. You know, talking about what you're going to do with them and do to them, and disrespecting each other, families, because of skin color, money, titles, whatever it may be. Because it all goes back to the morals, the lack of morals, and the lack of faith, the lack of belief in dealing with the fleshly desires. You know, and so all I'm saying is that America, my people, you know, we truly have to unify and realize what's going on. And if you truly want to act out, truly want to do something about it. Because going around tearing up stuff, fighting up the police, tearing up your own, place of residence, causing civil unrest, is not going to get anywhere. It's not going to get anybody anywhere. But if you really truly want to do something, get an education. If you truly really want to do something, understand the faith and the word and why it tells us to follow the 10 commandments. Why it tells us to do right, to not gossip, to not slander. If you truly want to do something, vote. November is right around the corner. Your vote matters. Your vote matters because it ain't just about going to the polls and voting. It's about the tax dollars. See, when you tearing up your own place, if you don't have the money, with the economy being bad, if the tax dollars can't afford to restore that place, then now you have to live in a place that's been destroyed. And so I tell people all the time that if you truly want your voice to be heard, you pay my salary. Realize that the tax dollars that you pay. So if you really want to do something, it's just like in the NBA. If it's truly a racial issue and they caught him on video talking and it was a racial issue, they threatened to boycott. Because at the end of the day, why? Because it would hurt the economy. It would hurt the fact that we know that we need to watch and have basketball as a means of living, as a job, as entertainment even. So if you truly want to do something, start boycotting. Because I know my people hurt. I know y'all hurting out there. So I don't believe that y'all acting out just because of what's happening. Just because of the killings. It's black on black crime going every single day. Latinos killing each other. I mean, so we can't just focus just on that, even though we see that it is an issue. And I believe that it is an issue. It may be even a fear. It may be even an issue with the facts that the law has to be restructured in a sense that it's fair. It could be that we have to get the trainings that these officers need. It also could be that we need to have the leaders, the spiritual leaders, the active leaders, to truly not just be getting money, not making a move, not going out there to the people. We have them to also live out what they speaking. They have to be encouraging people to get an education. They teaching them how to trap, teaching them how to steal. How can you say you my family member? How can you say you love me? How can you say you my friend, but you teaching me how to gang bang, steal, and harm people? When at the end of the day, we already know what it's going to land us at. We have to, if you truly care, I don't listen to 97.9. Why? Because it's confusion. On one end, they playing music that's entertaining lust, envy, jealousy, killing. And on the other end, they donate money to causes and saying, well, look at us, we giving back to the community. And it's creating confusion in the young people's mind, in our mind. Because what it look like, you're trying to make us look like that you're truly helping us and got love for us. But really, what you're doing is trying to put us in a situation to where we're doing ignorant stuff and then calling it rehab. What we need is some preventative medicine. Don't do it. Do right. Fight to do right. Fight to be there for your family. Not from jail. Fight to be there. That's the best thing you can do is educate yourself. Find you a spouse. Get married. Commit to them. Raise your kids. And that's how you reestablish an educated society. An educated family. So my thing is, all I'm saying is that we got to look at every aspect of it. Go vote. Boycott. Stop buying, stop spending your money out here on this alcohol, on the tobacco. So, because if y'all really want to address it as a racial issue, but you buying tobacco, you smoking tobacco, or even stealing it, or whatever, in which long time ago our ancestors worked out there in tobacco plants. So are we truly really trying to better ourselves? Are we truly trying to live up to what Martin Luther King stood for? I tell people every time I carry a gun, I hate the fact that I have to carry a gun, but I know that we live in a society that even if we didn't have guns, and I say this like, even if we didn't have guns, there would still be people out here trying to kill somebody. Whether it's by their hands, whether it's by a knife, because people are sinful at nature. So we can't avoid the fact that it goes back to the individual. It goes back to the faith. It goes back to the fairness. Vote for people who are truly about the people. Who is not about favoritism. Because it's leading to corruption. And what's happening, what's going to happen is if my great country ended corruption, look at all the countries that are corrupt. And we should live in such a way. Our country has came so far right now for us to be going backwards. And I believe that we're going to move forward because we're going to have people that's going to unify. And I'm not just talking about the politicians, the activists, the spiritual leaders. We need everybody. I'm talking about the gang leaders. I'm talking about those in prison. Right now I'm talking to you too. Because what we live, we have a selfish society. And like I said, you don't love me if you're going to teach me wrong. As a matter of fact, that's the reason why I started connecting to God, because I realized that I had two options. I had two types of people in my life. Good or bad ones. This ain't had nothing to do about family, friends, anything. Good or bad people. I had my own cousin wrote me from jail, from the pen, and told me, do something with your life. Do something that's going to steer the people right. I have people who are out here doing things right. My dad was a working man. He didn't ever have a whole lot of money, but he didn't go around stealing. He didn't go around taking, killing. But he encouraged his kids to do better, to get an education, to have respect for your elders, to have respect for the law, to not be out there driving with a bunch of guys swerving lane to lane or whatever, thinking that you big and bad, because you feeding off of that energy. You feeding off of that music. You feeding off of what? Because you're fearful. And I've been there. I had to stand up to people who gonna come up to me and try to intimidate me because I wouldn't gang bang with them, because I wouldn't go fight with them. So you know what I told them? I said, you know what? I'm not gonna fight or whatever, because I don't believe in that. Why would I sit there and try to sell drugs to my people? If you love the people, you wouldn't sell drugs to them. If you love the people, you wouldn't go around fighting them, trying to kill the people. If you love the women, you wouldn't go around here trying to play women, not taking care of your kids. And this is across the board.